Hi, my name is Sydney Vanderpool, and this was my project for the final thesis paper for our integrative studies class. I did my paper over spatial impacts on behavioral and social disorders, focusing in the disciplines of interior design and restaurant and hotel management. This is a website I created that goes along with what I wrote and researched in the paper and just goes into detail about different design aspects that can accommodate to people with different neurological diversities, such as autism, PTSD, social anxiety, and Alzheimer's. Life is a beautiful gift, and design is an element of which provides inspiration and beauty to those who get to experience it. Why limit design elements to the standard person when design can significantly expand inspiration to all demographics through a few small cosmetic changes? Interior design provides functionality to a space, yet the capability of design has not reached its full capacity, of which pushes past the idea of a beautiful and functioning establishment. Over the course of this video, I will take you through the different parts of my webpage and explain to you the different elements of design and explain to you how those elements of design can be altered and cosmetically changed in a space to make a space a healthy and positive experience. So this is a page on my website that's still included in the home screen of my website. There are only two tabs on the website. One is the home, and it gives you just a few details about sensory design and what it can do for the interiors, and it has a little quote and tells you what you'll find on the website. So in this snapshot, you'll find a photo, and next will be a few words describing what sensory design does. In the photo, it shows you a few different elements of design that are taken into consideration when designing for people with sensory needs. Sensory needs are met by just changing a few simple elements of design, which include the texture, sound acoustics, and the lighting. The text states, "Successful design is something that can bring joy to people's everyday life through small details and aesthetics." What if we designed public spaces to bring joy to everyone? By everyone, this includes those who suffer with mental, emotional, and behavioral disorders. Design should be a beautiful experience for every individual, not just the average individual. Interior spaces can be made more comfortable by changing a few cosmetic details, such as texture, lighting, sound acoustics, and the aesthetic. These elements of design are cosmetic details in an interior and are fairly easy to change without the need for construction. In the photo to the left, you can see just how easy these changes can be made by adding a simple texture to a wall like they did underneath the stairwell. This provides a safe and comfortable environment. This not only meets the sensory needs, but it provides a positive experience for everyone who visits. At the bottom of the website, I included this picture of a quote that I think really pertains to the information that is displayed on the website. This quote also provides a unique perspective for designers to consider when they are creating environments for people. This quote is by Randy Pfizer, who is a CEO and a member of the ASID. The quote states, "A designer who creates interiors for people with autism has taken the best of their training and applied it to the world of an individual who experiences life and space in a very special way." I found this quote to be extremely inspiring to designers and help change the thought process of design when it comes to creating interiors for all people. Design is something that should provide functionality and beauty into an interior space, but it should not limit who that space accommodates. It's important for designers to understand who is experiencing their spaces and what that experience relays back on that person, whether that be positive or negative. Design should not only be beautiful, but it should supply people with positive experiences when they enter and leave the establishment. This is located on the second page of my website, known as the Aspects of Design tab. It goes into detail and tells you about the three different aspects of design that were located and mentioned on the first page of the homepage. It says Aspects of Design for Social and Behavioral Disorders. When designing interior spaces for individuals who suffer from social or behavioral disorders, the difference in design is minimal, and it can be done to the cosmetic makeup of a project. For example, individuals with autism are sensitive to harsh lights, sound acoustics, and different textures. It is important in a design to use appropriate sensory details in that design. Individuals that fall on the autism spectrum want to interact with their environment, and the design can be a positive experience for those who seek out any sensory details in their design. By just changing a few cosmetic elements of design, it allows for people to interact with their environment, and it relays a positive experience for those who do get to interact. When this is done successfully and interaction in interior design is created, it allows for a positive experience to be made at this location, and it creates a positive relayed message towards this environment. Like I said before, these different elements of designs are not difficult to incorporate into an interior. Interior design is a discipline of which causes difficulty to the problem, because design is subjective in that it is unique to the designer. Each designer has a different end game to their design, and for a majority of designers, neurological disorders aren't a priority or a concern for their concept. In this last section of the website, I will go into detail and tell you about all the different elements of design and give you examples of what designers can do to help incorporate these sensory details in all of their designs and create a positive experience for everyone. Like I've stated before, the three elements of design that will be discussed on this webpage are texture, acoustics, and lighting. We'll start with texture. Texture is an important sensory element of design in which it can improve the experience of people who have different neurological diversities. Those who fall on the autism spectrum respond more positively to interior spaces of which cater to their sensory needs. Texture not only allows for a positive sensory experience, but allows for a design to make constructive use of different materials. The use of different materials such as fabrics, stone, and wood can be incorporated beautifully into a space, but also heighten someone's sensory experience. The next element of design is acoustics. The importance of acoustics is the control of sound and how that sound moves through an establishment. Hard materials such as wood create a space in which sound is not easily absorbed. This causes for different sounds to heighten and echo throughout, which can be extremely stressful for people who suffer from PTSD, autism, and social anxiety. The movement of sound can be controlled through incorporating materials of which absorb these sounds and can control the frequency of the sound. This can greatly change the experience of someone and can also work with the element of texture when applying these elements to a design. The last element of design is lighting. Lighting is an element of design which is unique in the way it is used. Lighting can be used for many different functions, such as task lighting, ambient lighting, and decorative lighting. People of certain different neurological diversities respond negatively to the stress that comes from harsh and bright lighting. This can be controlled in a setting by creating a soft ambience in the space, of which allows a positive response by all demographics. The different functions of lighting can still be maintained, all the while creating an inviting environment for everyone. Meeting the sensory needs of these three design elements, we can create positive experiences and beautiful interior design spaces throughout all establishments. Such elements of design should not limit themselves to the standard of society, but push past the standard of interior design and provide an environment that is inviting and exciting for all. The lack of consideration in design accommodation is what differs people of different neurological diversities from certain spaces. The Americans Disabilities Act has certain requirements for a building of which allows accommodation for those who are physically handicapped and allows a space for people to maneuver accessibly through the space. Interior designers can take their space into the next level of accommodation by not just meeting the requirements of the ADA, but considering not only the physically handicapped, but the mentally handicapped as well. Social, behavioral, and neurological diversities can be accommodated by small cosmetic changes in design, like the ones that I've talked to you about today. The concept of therapeutic and healthy design is an easy concept of which could be incorporated into our everyday spaces and should be incorporated. In the process of design, designers should expand their horizons and push past the standards of design to make a space that accommodates to every single person, those of which include social, behavioral, and mental disabilities.